Hello students, welcome to Association International School. Meet the AIS Career Guidance Counseling team. We've got a short message for you guys, and it's very important that in line with our anti-bullying campaign week, this message reaches you, and this message will enlighten your minds and will help you focus on respecting other people's boundaries, coexisting peacefully with others, and learning to be each other's keepers. So meet the team. I am Mrs. Abigail Blay, and on my right we have...
I'm Miss Paula.
And on my left...
Yeah, I'm Emil.
Alright, and we form the AIS Career Guidance and Counseling team. So quickly into our short message. I'm going to talk to you about boundaries. And I'm sure most of you have probably heard what boundaries are. Boundaries bring to mind a limit that people will set in terms of your physical, emotional, and mental space. Lines we shouldn't cross. In other words, limits. And I'm sure you have your boundaries. Things you will tolerate and things you will not tolerate. And it's okay to have boundaries. Healthy boundaries, by the way. But that aside, it's also important to ask yourself this great question. Do you respect other people's boundaries? Are you mindful of them? Here is a thought. It is always important to walk in other people's shoes. How would I feel if I said something hurtful to the other person? And how would the other person also feel if I pushed them or if I did something to hurt them physically? Now you realize that I talked about physical boundary and emotional boundaries. And these are very, very important. But to the heart of the message is, are we really mindful of how other people feel? When we give it a little thought, a little consideration of how we need to treat each other, especially when we understand that the words we speak and the things we do stay with people forever, that could have a damaging effect on the person's sense of self-worth, sense of self-esteem, and their confidence. And you and I know how it can be so challenging to build a person's confidence. So guys, think about it more. Boundaries. Let us learn to respect one another's boundaries. Let us be caring towards one another. And I bet you already know that caring is one of the IB profiles, right? Yes. So we need to learn to be caring, tolerant. We need to be people that will also reflect the principle as a Christian student in a Christ-centered school. So think it through. A little thought, a little consideration for others, and that's all the difference that you and I need to make. So we're counting on you.
Let's take a minute to think about something. There are certain jokes that your friends can't make around you, or activities that they wouldn't include you in because they know that they'd make you feel uncomfortable. Well, the point right before something becomes uncomfortable, rude, or hurtful is called a boundary. Boundaries are very important and everybody has them. Your best friend, your math teacher, even your parents. Now, you wouldn't ever wish for anybody to cross that point, would you? No matter how close they are to you, whether they be your sibling, your best friend, your parents, you would never wish that. Why? Because you wish to be respected. And everybody does as well. Everybody wants respect. Now, in Matthew 12 verse 31, Jesus says that the second most important commandment is love thy neighbor as thyself. In loving thyself, you create and set your own boundaries and maintain them. And in loving others, you do the same with them. You respect their boundaries and keep them in mind whenever you're doing anything with them, whether it be in class, when you go out with them on the weekends, just in everything you do. Respect people's boundaries.
I'm going to leave it to my colleague to shed a little light more on making sure that we create a sense of belonging. And then Mr. Emil is going to top it up with what you can do when you witness someone bullying another person.
Have you ever been to a new country, to a place where you stand out, where you look different? Well, I have. And sometimes you get some looks, sometimes other people just make you feel welcome. Well, discrimination comes in various ways, and just don't say mean things to people because of the way they look or because of how they behave. There's a whole culture history behind this. The person comes from a place, so respect others. Well, embrace the differences. Just make sure you treat others the way you like to be treated.
Boundaries are basically emotional, physical, or mental limitations that you put between you and another person. They are guidelines which have been established to show how people should react or behave around you. And the thing about boundaries is that we have to respect each other's boundaries. Respect begins with this: I acknowledge that you are a creature of extreme worth. This is a quote by Gary Chapman. Everybody is different. Everybody has different sets of boundaries. And it doesn't really matter whether you agree with these boundaries. You have to respect and be mindful of them. Respecting and being mindful of people's boundaries help create a safe environment for them and for you too. The same way you'd want to feel respected and safe in a setting, the same way someone else would. So remind yourself of that. And some ways to be respectful of people's boundaries is to pay attention to body language and verbal cues. They may be subtle, but they are there. So if you feel like you've made somebody uncomfortable, or maybe you've overstepped a boundary, just relax and think about your next step, process it, and adjust to the situation. Thank you. And remember, everybody is different, and everybody has different boundaries. So be mindful of them, respect, because that's how you create a safe environment for everybody, including yourself.
So you asked the question, what can you do about this situation? And do you know that in life, if you don't stand for anything, you will fall for everything. So why don't we stand for what is right and then call out what is wrong? Let's stop bullying on campus. And I know we can do it.
So guys, you've had it all. You've had something about boundaries. You've had something about making sure you do not discriminate because of someone's size, someone's color or race, someone's height or weight. In fact, you are beautiful just the way you are. You are intelligent, you are smart. Someone shouldn't make you feel bad for the things you carry. Remember, God made you unique, and no one else, nobody should make you feel less of yourself. Please be firm about your boundaries and make sure that people who try to bully you are reported. If you don't have the courage to do so, we are a team. You can send us an email, reach out to us, and we're ever ready to support you. Talk to your advisors, talk to a trusted adult, someone who will stand behind you and will call the bullying out. Say no to bullying. Let us all work together to create a safe space for all. Bullying should not be tolerated at any level or in any space. We're counting on you to be responsible citizens of AIS and in our community as well. Do talk about boundaries when you go to your churches, when you go to your parties. It is important that you don't encourage cyberbullying, physical, verbal, or social bullying. We're really looking forward to partnering with all of you, and so we're wishing you the best. Thank you very much.
Let's create a safe space for all. Say no to bullying.
Safe space for all. Say
bullying.
Say no to bullying.
Okay. All right. So.
spinning.
Because you were joking
Yeah,
and it's your fault. I thought we were going to mess it up.